Hello and welcome to Jambags, the channel where we take a sideways look at the gaming industry. I'm your host Rudy Manchego, and this is the first part in a new video series that explores the silliest gaming tropes, from design narrative choices to moments that stick out more than your horny drunk uncle at your sister's wedding. Today features the game Shadow the Tomb Raider by Square Enix. Now this game is, well, it's another rebooted Tomb Raider game, where, after the rebooted origin story in Tomb Raider, the sequel Rise of the Tomb Raider, and now this, we pray to God that Lara Croft has finally become the Tomb Raider. It's a pretty good game. I'm a little over 2/3 of the way through, and I'll be seeing the story through to completion, which is normally a pretty good sign. However, this isn't a review of the game, because I'd be a terrible reviewer and I'd be very easily bought by publishers. I'm that corrupt. This is, however, a look at one of my least favourite tropes in video games. I call it the Goodie versus gameplay scenario. Well, what's that, Rudy, I hear you ask? Well, first, stop being so rude and interrupting. I'm trying to tell you. And now I think I'll try and actually show you. The footage on screen is a capture of a side mission that happens relatively early in the game. To avoid spoilers, and absolutely not because I fluffed up the video capture, I won't show the cutscenes. However, it's a fairly standard gaming side mission story. Lara, walking through a small village in a South American rainforest where everyone seems to speak English but in a thick, nondescript accent which borders on being offensive, she overhears a conversation about people being mistreated by some dastardly treasure hunters. Lara, of course, wants to help. Now, this is an important part of the equation and one that I'll come back to. Bear it in mind, okay? She hears something and wants to do something about it. Lara says she'll look into it. Remember, important point. She is the Goodie. So, you go to the objective-laden map, find the marker, and take a wee saunter over to the spot. Let's see what Lara finds, shall we? Oh no, this doesn't look good. Let's pause here. Lara has just seen a murder. They are more than likely bad men. She does not know if this is the brother of the man she has been sent to find, or actually someone who had been doing their own naughty things. She's missing completely the context of the situation. She knows nothing other than what a complete stranger in a bar she's never been to before has told her. What does she do? Does she confront them? Does she find the local constabulary and tell them what she's seen? Does she perhaps scout the situation out and find the lay of the land? I'll unpause and see what Lara immediately does, shall I?
What the hell got into it? He used to bring us 10 people a week.
You ask me, it's that brother thing. Always unionization this and justice that. Wow.
Fucking.
And she kills the first guy. Wham! No warning, no chance. Slit up a treat. I'm sure that his murder has completely sickened her, but she's got another one as well. Shot him through the head. His own mother won't be able to identify the corpse if he's ever found. Lara doesn't even care if she is found. She just left him there to rot in the jungle. There goes another one. This is becoming a complete bloodbath. Oh, and another one. For the love of God, will no one stop this one-woman killing machine? Freddy there was just trying to earn some scratch to get him to veterinary school, and stuck-up home county's top has just offed him without a word of explanation. The guns are out now. Brap. It is all kicking off. And it's over now, but what's she doing? Oh, she is looting their dead bodies for valuables. Not that she needs it. She's a bloody millionaire. Anyway, she wanders back, and this is the result. A happy father, and no mention of the utter bloodbath that she's caused. Now, I'm being facetious, obviously, and this isn't the only game to do such things, but it is worthy of note. The character of Lara in this rebooted series is supposedly a new, more moral character. Gone is the dubious morality of the original endangered species killer who literally steals treasure and stores it in a manor house, instead replaced with someone trying to do good. Her new origin story involves her taking a life for the first time, fighting an evil organisation who wants to end the world. When Miss Lara interacts with the world, she wants to help. She cares about everyone. We are supposed to recognise that she is a goodie. See, I told you this would come back. She is fighting against evil. This is a massive character development thread. In this game, spoilers I suppose, Lara feels responsible for a terrible event, and the game explores her remorse. It is a central character arc through the early parts of the game. Then, well, this. So what gives? Well, this, as I said at the start, is what I call the Goodie versus gameplay dilemma. You see, combat in games is an essential part of it. First, let's get out of the way that we gamers are some massive psychopaths who enjoy killing in games as a way to show their ex-girlfriend that they can take charge and be dominant, Stacy. No. Combat, and by association, the ending of the baddies, is a key way that games allow us to interact with the world and give us something to do. Sure, the more realistic games become, the more power fantasies they ape, but at its core, combat can be shooting someone with a gun, but it can also be Mario jumping on a Goomba or Kirby sucking someone off. You are interacting with the world. To return to the Tomb Raider games, the player interacts with the world in several ways. First is exploration, movement around the world and finding items. Jumping, climbing, typically falling off ledges or collecting things to increase the character's abilities are really a core asset of the game. Next is puzzle solving. The player interacts with the world to progress, solving environmental puzzles via logical steps or visual clues. And lastly is combat. Lara can engage with the world by fighting with the in-game enemies. This also helps to tie the previous 2 points around. Lara will explore to get the edge on the enemies, collect items to restock ammo or improve weaponry, and solve puzzles on how to take on multiple enemies without getting riddled with hot lead. Combat is fun. It's often challenging and is where the player or character will be the most in peril. It often tests the player and gets the pulse racing. All of these make the game. This is what you do as a player. However, the incentive to continue in narrative-led games is the story, and of course the arc of the character. And this is where we have the detachment of Lara as the goodie and the gameplay requirements of the game. You see, Lara needs to explore, puzzle solve and fight multiple baddies to give the player something to do. The story therefore has to find a way to accommodate these into the character and narrative arc across the game. Now, if Lara was an anti-hero, a Snake Plissken-style merc who cares little for life, the acts of fighting and killing would be easily accountable in the story. Or if the enemies were supernatural or alien in some way, so the legions of hell in Doom, again, combat and killing come completely naturally within the narrative. Things get a little bit harder when you try to make a character relatable and moral. You see, Lara is a good person and wants to help. However, the character can only interact with the world via exploration, puzzle solving and combat. Being in a relatively real world environment, the enemies are human, I think, and therefore, when it comes to combat, Lara has to kill. This means the story and gameplay intersect, and if not handled deftly, it can come across as quite jarring. This scenario we've shown here demonstrates it. Lara, the character, wants to help the nice man who needs help. This is the story version of Lara. However, when we find the actual purpose of this side mission, it's a combat side mission. This is the gameplay version of Lara. The two don't really meet. Now, of course, the reasoning is that these are baddies. Sure, of course. However, it is wildly unrealistic that anyone would go from trying to help to becoming a stone-cold mass killer. Lara sees the baddies and kills them. No questioning, no investigation, just rips their guts out and shows them how squishy the inside of their brains really are. It's like going from Mary Poppins suddenly switching to Tony Montana with an M16 assault rifle. It's a dilemma that affects many games, and is a common complaint of, say, the Uncharted series, that sees lovable rogue Nathan Drake quip and schmooze, then casually mow down 100 guys without breaking a sweat. I mean, those 100 guys had families, don't you know? I mean, who's going to take little Millie to her swimming lessons now, you evil son of a bitch? So, why does it happen? Well, in truth, it's a real dichotomy between gameplay design and character design. Good combat is satisfying and, let's be honest, sells well. If you're basing your game in a relatively realistic world, then it means recognisable enemies, i.e. human. If you try to present your character as a relatable goodie, you then have to balance that with the fun gameplay side. For Lara's character, in this scenario, it could have played out that she talks to people, does more investigation, perhaps calls the cops, or at least gives them fair warning. However, for the player, this would be pretty boring. So she goes where the gameplay is and starts a murdering good and proper. In the end, the real solution here is to better align your character to your gameplay, or even write your enemies and side missions better. What if Lara had tried to intervene safely and then was attacked? What if the actions were justified? What if she communicated and discussed at-them violence? Maybe in the end, it comes down to writing, and making sure that the writing matches the character and what you're trying to achieve with them. Anyway, I've been Rudy, and thanks for watching Jambaggers. If you have a second, please do like and subscribe, and check out more of our content. We do a regular Jambags Gaming Podcast that's available on iTunes, Spotify, and all podcast apps. And you can also check us out on Twitter at jambags_UK and on Instagram at jambags_UK. Lastly, check out our website, jambags.co.uk, for all our content and a few additional blog posts. Thanks very much.